A peaceful morning on Friday after a peaceful night outside of the Brooklyn Center police station. At the same time, the city is bracing for a weekend with nice weather that could bring larger crowds of people to this location. Acting City Manager Reggie Edwards said during an emergency meeting of the Brooklyn Center City Council on Thursday night that there are a few changes people can expect at the protest site. One of them is already in place, an extra layer of barricades and fencing surrounding the Brooklyn Center Police Department in an effort to stabilize the place for protesters. The city is hiring what they call interveners to go between protesters and law enforcement, and they are hiring crews to clean up trash left by protesters every morning. There will also be plywood put up at the site for people to create art as part of making this a healthy space. There have been questions about Brooklyn Center receiving mutual aid and criticism about some of the tactics officers have used on protesters. Crystal Police Chief Stephanie Revering is the current president of the Hennepin County Chiefs of Police Association. She read a letter to the council asking for support from mutual aid agencies, saying, "We will do everything we can to help your community through these difficult times, but we are only able to do our part with the unequivocal support of the leaders." A statement from Acting City Manager Reggie Edwards after the meeting said the city did still want to work with mutual aid agencies. There was no further discussion of tactics that would be used or eliminated. A Brooklyn Center church has become a safe place for those seeking refuge. Reporter Pafua Yang takes us to Lutheran Church of the Master, which is very close to the Brooklyn Center police station.
There's been a lot of lamenting, a lot of frustration, and we felt like we needed to be Christ's presence to the community. So what we have is one or two of us usually stand out here to meet people and invite them in.
For Associate Pastor Jim Verbout, week one on the job wasn't exactly what he imagined.
You have that cute list of everything you think you're going to do, of reaching out into the community, and then Sunday happened.
Sunday, when Lutheran Church of the Master found itself midfield of what some call a war zone.
I've prayed with strangers. I've prayed with people I would have never thought I would have prayed with.
The church is located only half a mile from the Brooklyn Center police station.
Right here we'll have the hot chocolate and the food set up.
Church leaders stepped out onto the grounds to be the light for both protesters and law enforcement.
Anybody and everybody, regardless of race, color, beliefs, are welcome here.
Church doors were open past midnight every day, serving dozens seeking respite.
You follow Christ's example. Christ didn't ask people, who are you? What are your credentials? Christ said, come to me. Come to the church. We're a safe place.
Some came for prayers, others for restrooms and warmth. Verbout says the reason didn't matter.
We're going out there and being Christ's hands and feet to the community, and this is what it looks like.
Because all that does matter is displaying the love of Christ.
If we're going to be the church, now's the time to be the church.
Pafua Yang, CCX News.
Local union members joined in solidarity in Brooklyn Center to ask for justice for Daunte Wright.
As a labor movement, we are very diverse. We have members from every walks of life, and we believe it is important that we stand up for what's right for all of our members beyond just contract. We stand up for justice, we stand up for equality.
Union members representing nurses, educators, electrical workers, and service employees gathered outside of Brooklyn Center High School Friday morning. They wanted to highlight some of the work they've been doing in Brooklyn Center this week, while also urging state lawmakers to pass laws supporting racial justice. During times of tragedy, if you look close enough, you can find people helping other people. Several essential stores have been looted or closed, but as Delane Cleveland explains, Brooklyn Center community schools are rising to meet a need.
This has been the place to help heal together, to have the fellowship, to mourn and to grieve with our city, with each other.
In a week marked by tragedy and anger.
Thanks so much.
Staff members from the Brooklyn Center School District have been a bright spot for those in need of comfort.
The gas station was right across the street from my house, the Family Dollar's right across the street from my house, and now we're just looking over there and everything is just boarded up. It looks really depressing. We have to constantly travel far out just to go get groceries.
With many Brooklyn Center businesses sustaining damage during the unrest after the police killing of Daunte Wright.
Is there room for all this in there?
The school district wanted to help.
We here at Brooklyn Center, we are an incredibly small community. our students and families and community have been greatly impacted.
On Monday, they set up a resource distribution center for anyone in need of essential supplies. And all week long, generous people from across the state have answered the call to help.
When times are tough, people are always willing to help.
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., cars line up to drop off food, drinks, personal hygiene items, and other supplies, while an army of students and district staff organize the resources to get them ready for distribution.
I thank them for the support and coming out and helping the community.
It's a community that will need time to heal after the week's events. The volunteers and donors here are hopeful that this can be a first step in the rebuilding process.
I'm so proud to be able to service our community in the capacity that we have been, and just very excited to rebuild together.
The Resource Distribution Center will be here for as long as people need it to be. Meanwhile, if you want to help, the district is asking people to check their social media pages for a list of items in need. In Brooklyn Center, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
And finally, this weekend, you will want to make note of a major road closure. You might have already seen the signs up on the roads. I-94, 694 westbound will be closed starting at 10 p.m. Friday and going until 5 Monday morning from Highway 100 to Brooklyn Boulevard. Expect similar closures over the next few weekends as MnDOT works on a repair and resurfacing project. As we go to break, we'll leave you with these pictures. A new scene outside of the Brooklyn Center Police Station.
It's the first full week of games for spring high school athletes in Minnesota, including those in fast-pitch softball.
The Maple Grove softball team, state Class 4A champions in 2019, playing their first game in 22 months as they face Park Center Thursday. Top of the first inning with the bases loaded, Maple Grove catcher Jenna Grunig unloads them with this drive to the left center field gap. Danny Strom, Alyssa Werns, and Riley Hemingway all score, and the Crimson lead 5-0. Later in the inning, with Kate Kapsner at the plate, it's a wild pitch. Elizabeth Berry dashes home with another run. It's 8-0 Maple Grove after half an inning. Pretty good pitching this day, too, for the Crimson. A called third strike ends the Pirates' third inning on a strikeout for starter Maddie Wilm. Park Center gets some runners on board on the day, but they can't score. Meanwhile, in the fourth inning, with Dorothy Dueck at the plate for the Crimson, she flares a ball into short left field. Warren scores, and Maple Grove is up 10-0. Still in the fourth, Barry hits a ball to just about the same spot in the field. This plate's two runners. Dueck and Leah Isle come home. Maple Grove goes on to win 13-0 in 5 innings.
Local baseball teams are getting the season started. Jason Malillo has highlights from Totino-Grace's season opener.
High school baseball teams back on the field for 2021 at Totino-Grace, the Eagles hosting Anoka. Top fourth, Jacob Deutschman lifts a long fly ball that eludes the Grace outfielders and scores Jake Gantz, and it's a 2-2 game. Bottom fourth, Stephen Golden rips a line drive in the gap to bring home Brennan Blake, and the Eagles are up 3-2 on the triple by Golden. Then Luke Siegel rolls a ground ball in the hole and legs out an infield hit that brings Golden home for a 4-2 Grace lead. Bottom fifth, Blake strokes a hit over the Anoka outfielder to plate Jacob Mraz and Zach Haas. It's a 2-out, 2-run double for Blake, and the Eagles are in control. Blake would take care of pitching duties the rest of the way, and Totino-Grace wins 6-2. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Local high school lacrosse teams will be hitting the field soon for their first games. Jay Wilcox caught up with the Osseo Park Center boys.
It's a new beginning for the Osseo Park Center boys lacrosse team. After no high school season last spring due to COVID and with a lot of new faces around, it's back to basics to start.
I mean, the first week I felt like we were back in 2002 starting the program. Just a few veterans kind of helping lead the way, but otherwise a lot of guys where we had to spend time talking about every single drill we did. So it was interesting.
Our guys that are going to be playing varsity, it looks good. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but at the same time, we all want to play together, and that's the most important thing. We want to run the offense together and the defense.
Numbers have dropped off some, with 29 players out this season, so they won't field a JV team. There is a core group that has played a lot of varsity lacrosse, though, so while the depth may be lacking a bit, this could still be a competitive team.
I expect us to be pretty strong. I want this whole team to just work hard every practice. Basically prove that if you have a young team, it doesn't really matter.
I hope we can cause havoc and for sure beat Maple Grove and stick with teams like Andover, Centennial, because they're going to have more depth and skill, but that doesn't mean that they can beat us.
Considering all of the obstacles, OPC coach Darren Nelson knows he can't expect a well-oiled machine in the first week, but he's looking for progress.
I think we have a ton of potential. I mean, we have 29 players, and we have 8 7th graders, so that's great for our future. But even the new guys that are juniors and seniors picked it up really fast, and I just feel like they're going to be strong come mid-season. It's just going to be some growing pains to start with, I think.
Osseo Park Center will find out starting in Monday's season opener what kind of team they'll have this spring. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
OPC plays at Andover Monday night. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org.